Hello and welcome to Pichaya channel. In this video, I will show you my way of solving the level 3 to 5 of this case. Before we start, I would like to say thank you to Dear Mood and Excel Wizard for tips and tricks about the formula that I have used in the model. Okay, let's start. For this one, I will create a model that can use to answer all the three levels. The question for the level 3 is asking for whether the white can play a valid move. So to answer this is to find whether the white will move in the position that cannot capture anything. And for the level 4, the questions is asking about how many the black tokens that the white can capture by playing into the designated cell. And for the level 5 is asking about how many that the white can capture, the most pieces. Let's go to the conceptual first. What I will do in the model is for each blank cell provided in each question in each game. For example, let's say at the X or the E4, I will list out all the 8 patterns in the 8 directions, starting from the X, but not include the X. So that will be for example, the East. This symbol is represent the direction like north, south, east, and west. Yeah, and for example, the East. So I will list the token starting from the right. And for the West, I will list the tokens starting from the left in order from 1 to 7 like this. So there will be 8 patterns of 8 directions. And for the capture conditions, so the first one is this pattern. It can capture the tokens if they start with a black token and end with a white token, or the pattern of black star and white, and after that can be anything. The second one is they have to have no space in between. The third one is to count the black tokens in between or before the closing white. I will use this one. I will count it before the closing white. And the last one is it can capture more than one direction at once. Let's continue to the model. So in order to be able to list all the 8 directions like this and to don't make the formula so complicated, so I have prepared the area to use. In the center is the main table. However, I need to spare the space about more 8 cells on the left and right and up and down like this, so that it will become the space that I can use for the formula that can extract all the information from every direction without anything in between on the way. And to answer all the questions, I will use the data table. So the first step, I will create the input cell to use, which is the AD5. So let's start at the game number 31. And the designate cell is for level 4 and level 5. I will just use the XLOOKUP formula from the game number, which is 85, and lookup array from the task sheet. And, from row B95 to B188, lock it, and the return array must be the G95 to, I will just copy this one and change the B to G. Sorry, the designate cells will be used in level 3 and 4, not 4 and 5. And these green cells I will use to create the formula that to find the answer for each level. So just leave it like this first. The first step is I will create a table. I call it the current state. This table has 64 rows, which will be all the cells in each game. So for the index, it's just the sequence 64. For the row, I use the formula of round up index divided by 8 and 0 decimal point. And for the column number, I use the mod index -1 divisor of 8 and +1. The X here is the cell ID, which is like A1, A2, A3. So here I will doing like use the to call of the K4 to R4 here, which is the column name, and with the sequence 8 or 1 to 8. For the V here is the value for each game. I will use the lookup formula. I will just copy the formula from the cell 86 to here first. Then I will change the column, the return array from column G to column I to BT. And I will transpose. Yep. So this is the input for the game number 31. And also I will present the value here in the game table on the left. I will use the wrap row function of the AF14 to AF77, and the wrap count is 8. Okay, and I will change all the blank here to the X in order to distinguish between the blank in the table and the blank outside the table. I will just simply use the if AF14 is equal to the double quotes, change it to the small x, else just use the value. Okay. I will change the game number to level 5 game so that we can see some captures. Okay, let's do some like 71. Okay. Next, then now we get the table and we need to calculate what the pattern would be when we put the white token in each of the blank cells in the current state. So there is no order, so we have to try it in every blank cell. Continue to the next table. Here at the AH column for the blank cells, since I don't know how many blank cells, so I just create the table of 64 rows just to be safe. And I will use the filter to filter the data from the current state table, which the value is the double quotes. So at the AI 14, use the formula filter from AB. I will just stop it at column X, so it just only AB 14 to AE 77. Lock it and include the AF 14 to AF 77 equal to double quotes. Okay, and for the AM is to count how many that it can capture. So this is how I list the token pattern. The first thing is to check, because this is not the dynamic array formula, I just copy the formula to every cells here for the 64 row. So the first thing to check is whether the AI 14 is blank or not. So if it is blank, so just do nothing. And the next thing is to use the offset to get the information from the table. So the starting point of the offset would be this cell before going to the table, and the first starting point, for example, for the cell A1, the row would start from the row number 1, and on the top is the direction, each direction. So from like north, south, east, west, and so on, there will be the change in direction of row and column. Like if north and south, the column will unchanged or the 0, but the row will change. The north, the number of rows will be reduced, but the south, the number of rows will be increased, like that. And I use the starting row and plus the sequence of 7 because I need the 7 of them, and times the row direction. The AN11 is the direction of the row here. And for the columns parameter of this offset function, it starts at the AK14, which is the column index of the A1 cell, and also plus the sequence 7 times the direction of the change in column, which is the AN12. And after I got them, the T formula is to wrap the offset formula to let the offset to be able to use the sequence function. If I don't use this t function, this formula will just give me the error. For example, if I remove this t, it will just be error because of I use the sequence here. So this is the necessary thing to put in. And after that, I will just use the concat to make this thing show up in the just one string. So for any patterns that exceed the border of the table of the game table, the length will be less than 7, so it's okay. And any blank will be x. Okay, I will show the formula here. And the formula need to copy down to row 64. I mean to the end of the table. Okay, let's continue to the how we check the capture. Let's see my approach first. So the condition that I explained earlier is to check the pattern of black star, white star, and also need to check whether the x is coming before the first white, because if the x coming before the first white, it is the invalid move. So I have set the name of A black and A white. There are some of these black and white, so I set it here. Yep, so this is a black and this is a white. Okay, so I don't need to type them. So the pattern will be like this, and the formula to check whether it's to count if the AN14, if the criteria is like the AW12, which is a black star, a white star, have to lock it because I will use the same thing for every cell. So if it has, it will return 1 or something, but if it doesn't have, so it just return the 0. So if this pattern is greater than 0, then I will do the next check, if the phi x of AN14 less than the phi white of AN14. And be careful, because if there is no x, the AN14 will be error. So I can use like if error and put it 99, or just use another x to add it at the end of AN14 to let every pattern have the x by the end, even it doesn't have, to avoid the error from the phi function. So if this thing occur, so it cannot capture. So if this condition is true, so it will be 0, but if false, so we will count. we count the black tokens before the closing white, so we just find the position of a white and minus 1, because if there are 4 black tokens, the white token will be at the 5th position, so just minus 1, and we know that there are 4 black tokens like this. So if false, just 0. And copy the formula from AV14 to all the way down to BC 77. And to check the capture at the AM14, I will just use the sum formula, sum AV14 to BC14, and copy down to every cells. Okay, I would like to introduce some more ways to check the capture. For example, the second approach. So this is my approach. Okay. The second one, this is suggested by Excel wizard. So this very cool formula to use just the file. So the first one, use let A and use the AN14 and append with the X black and white. This is to make the AN14 have all the pattern and avoid the error in the file formula if it doesn't have. Second is for the B variable would be equal to the phi of black and white, and within the A. So if it could find this pattern, it look like the ended like this one, right? But we also must be careful because we cannot just find only this one, because it will be a mistake if the pattern is begin with white. So the result need to be this B time is to check this one is to check the condition, like if B, which is this position, is the number of total black tokens to be captured, is less than the phi of the white or X or not. Because if the white is in front of this pattern, it is invalid move. Also, if the X is in front of this pattern, also invalid move. So if any invalid move, this statement will give false, and the number of captures times 0, so nothing is captured. The approach C, also suggested by Excel wizard. This one is use the X match and phi in the pre-list. This is a very smart way because in the Othello game board we have a limited area of only 8 columns and 8 rows. So the pattern of capturing is limited to only these 6 patterns. Right. So my first approach to use the star is to support like very long range, which is not necessary for this case because the winning pattern is limited only these 6. So in this formula is like just to list out all the 6 patterns in the formula using the red black with the sequence 6 and append with a white. So this one will give us this thing here, and just find it in the AN14. AN14 is the pattern. If it has, it will return 1, and just use the X match to find the number 1 of any of this thing. So any pattern that is found, it will match at the correct sequence. So for example, if the correct pattern is this one, the 3 black tokens and the white, the file will provide the array of 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, and then the X match 1 will return the 3, which is the same number of the black capture, that the black tokens that has been captured. Yeah, I think this is very smart. Let's continue to the another approach. This one, yeah, also suggested by Excel Wizard. Okay, I mean, I sent him my approach, then he came back to me with another 3 possible solutions of how to check the capture tokens. This one is use the sum and count if, and also use the, I call this as a pre-list. Yeah. So count if the AN14 has this pattern, and just times it with the sequence 6 and sum. Actually, it will return only 1 true, so the other pattern that is not matched will just become 0. So the sum is just take that correct answer out from this array. Let's continue. So the E, this is after I saw the way that Excel Wizard create this one, the list of the predetermined winning condition. I will try to create another formula. I use the filter. So I put the predefined pattern here, and I filter them, and the filter condition is I use the X match, the CC3, which is this pattern with the star, and the star means like this pattern follow with anything, and look them in the AN14, and also have in the match mode I need to put the number 2 to enable the wildcard match. And if it is found, so it is like its number will be true, and use them in the future. If not found anything, then the if empty parameter for the filter will be 0. And the last one, check capture, suggested by Excel Wizard. Okay, this is another creative way of checking. Let B as a take before a white. So just extract the string before the white, so we got like anything, for example maybe all the black, or black with X, or black and something. And and then the next thing is to substitute the thing we get in the first step with all the black, and if and substitute with the new text is like nothing, or the double same as the double quotes. So if after substitute this string become like the zero length string, it means that the B here is all black. So if they are all black, no X, just times it with the length of B to get the number of the black tokens. The number of the black tokens. Yep. Okay. Let's continue to the answer. So how to answer the level 3? Level 3 is asking for the valid move. So the valid move of the designate cell, right? So we have to check whether the E6, for example, whether the E6 is in this list and can capture or not. So if the E6 is not in the blank cells, it is sure that the E6 is not a valid move. And if it is the blank cell, also need to check whether it can capture or not. If it shows zero capture, it is also an invalid move. And the answer will be yes or no, or Y and N, right? So just use the I must use what? If we look up value of the designate cell, table array will be AL14 and AM77, and column index num is 2, range lookup 0, we use exact match. So if this one, and if NA just 0, and if this one, if this expression is equal to 0, then it is not a valid move, else it is valid move. This is for level 3. And the level 4 is asking like how many that the designate cell of white can capture. So the level 4 is start with number 51. So just use the XLOOKUP. No, you can use VLOOKUP here. Copy down and just remove the if and if NA. Yeah. And the last one, the L5, is begin at game number 71. The level 5 is asking for the number of the max capture, the cell that have the max capture. So the answer will be the cell name. So I will use the sort of the array will be AL14 to AM77. Sort index is 2 and sort order -1, which is the descending. And take one row and one column. Okay, and to get the answers for game number 31 to 100, I will use the data table here. And for the function, this is the transpose of, at the C33 I will use transpose of AD7 to AD9, and yeah, and from B33 to E103, I will go to the data menu, what if analysis, and the data table. The column input cell will be cell 85. Yeah, this is exceed by one column. Okay, do it again. Yep, and press F9. Yeah. Okay, we got them all. Yeah. So it will be error in some games that not valid for the question. Okay, answer. To answer, can use like index of the result of the data table here, lock it, and the row number will be the game number minus 30, and the column number will be level minus 2. And copy down. So this is for level 3, and copy this formula to the level 4. Yeah, and copy this formula to level 5. Yeah, I'm done. Okay, that's all for level 3 to 5 of the Othello. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Bye bye.